The granite monoliths of Yosemite National Park have stood as silent sentinels over countless human journeys, yet they offer no answers when a traveler simply ceases to exist. In the late summer of 1995, 21-year-old college student Emilee LaRue stepped into this awe-inspiring expanse for a solo backpacking trip and never returned. Her disappearance left behind a haunting void and a single, unsettling question. Did the unforgiving landscape claim her life in a tragic accident, or did she orchestrate her own vanishing into the shadows of the Sierra Nevada? Yosemite is a place of profound contradictions, where breathtaking beauty masks an indifferent and lethal reality. The towering waterfalls and ancient sequoias draw millions of visitors each year seeking solace or adventure within its protected borders. Yet, beyond the paved scenic loops lies a vast, untamed wilderness that does not forgive a single misstep or a sudden drop in temperature. It is an environment that commands absolute respect, capable of swallowing a human being without leaving a single trace of their passage. Emilee was no stranger to the outdoors, possessing a deep reverence for nature that often drew her away from the bustling campus life. Friends and family described the young woman as fiercely independent, a capable adventurer who sought clarity and peace beneath the open sky. She meticulously planned her routes, carrying the right gear and an abundance of caution on her previous excursions. The decision to embark on a solo journey was entirely in character, a testament to her self-reliance and her desire to commune quietly with the natural world. The timeline of her final known movements remains frustratingly sparse, anchored only by the physical evidence left behind. Park rangers eventually located her vehicle undisturbed at a remote trailhead, the designated starting point where hikers leave the safety of the road to enter the trail system. The car sat locked and seemingly normal beneath a layer of late summer dust, offering no immediate signs of a struggle or foul play. It was as if she had simply walked away from her life, stepping over the invisible boundary between civilization and the wild. The realization that Emilee was missing did not occur immediately, as solo hikers often intentionally disconnect from the outside world for days at a time. It was only when she failed to return for the start of her college semester that the alarm bells finally rang. Authorities rushed to the vehicle, hoping to find a detailed itinerary or a forgotten map that might point them in the right direction. Instead, they found an eerie stillness, a locked car that served as the final concrete anchor to her existence. The discovery triggered massive SAR search and rescue operations, coordinated efforts by trained personnel to locate individuals lost or in distress within the park boundaries. Teams immediately initiated a grid search, a methodical technique where searchers walk in parallel lines across a specific area to visually inspect every inch of the ground for clues. Helicopters thumped rhythmically overhead, scanning the dense canopy and sheer cliffs for any sign of a brightly colored tent or a distress signal. Trackers scoured the dirt paths for boot prints matching her footwear, hoping the earth had captured a record of her path. The searchers quickly found themselves battling the immense scale of the backcountry, the remote, undeveloped, and difficult-to-access areas of the park, far removed from roads and facilities. This is a landscape characterized by deep ravines, impenetrable brush, and treacherous rockfalls that can easily conceal a human form. Even a meticulously executed search pattern can miss crucial evidence if it happens to be obscured by a fallen log or a sudden shadow. The sheer volume of the terrain turned the rescue effort into an agonizing pursuit of a needle in a continent-sized haystack. Complicating matters further was the unpredictable nature of the high-altitude environment. Investigators knew that if Emilee had pushed into the alpine zone, the region above the tree line characterized by harsh weather and fragile vegetation, her survival window would narrow drastically. Here, the temperatures can plummet below freezing even in the summer, and sudden storms can disorient the most experienced mountaineers. The elements themselves became a ticking clock, adding a desperate urgency to the methodical pace of the ground teams. Just as the physical search began to yield nothing but frustration, investigators uncovered a pivotal piece of evidence inside her abandoned vehicle. Tucked away in the glove compartment was Emilee's personal journal, a small, worn notebook filled with her handwritten thoughts and reflections. At first glance, it appeared to be a standard diary, documenting her daily life and academic pressures. However, a deeper reading revealed a complex psychological landscape that immediately shifted the entire focus of the investigation. The entries from the weeks leading up to her disappearance were deeply ambiguous, presenting a maddening puzzle for law enforcement and psychological profilers. Some passages expressed a profound weariness with societal expectations, containing cryptic musings about shedding her identity and becoming one with the earth. Other pages simply detailed her excitement for the upcoming Yosemite trip, listing gear requirements and meal plans like any responsible backpacker. This duality made it nearly impossible to determine if they were looking for a victim of circumstance or a woman who had successfully executed a planned departure. The psychological weight of those handwritten pages cast a heavy shadow over the ongoing search efforts. If the missing student had ventured into the wilderness seeking a permanent escape, her behavior would not match that of a typical lost hiker trying to be found. She might have actively avoided trails, hidden her camps, and deliberately evaded the helicopters passing overhead. The notebook transformed the vast national park from a dangerous obstacle course into a potential sanctuary for someone who no longer wished to be seen. Despite the unsettling implications of the writings, the official mandate remained unchanged, and search parameters were expanded outward from the car. Dive teams plunged into the freezing waters of alpine lakes, while climbing specialists rappelled down sheer granite faces looking for snagged equipment. Hundreds of square miles of unforgiving topography were covered by personnel, pushing themselves to the limits of physical endurance. Every anomalous shadow, every broken branch was scrutinized, yet the wilderness yielded absolutely nothing. The terrain of the Sierra Nevada is notorious for its deceptive nature, constantly challenging a hiker's perception and endurance. A common danger is the false summit, a peak that appears to be the top of a mountain but, upon reaching it, reveals the true summit still looming higher and further away. This optical illusion can crush the morale of an exhausted traveler, leading to fatal miscalculations in energy and daylight. Investigators wondered if she had fallen victim to such a geographic trick, pushing herself beyond the point of safe return in pursuit of a final, elusive vantage point. For the family, the agonizing lack of physical evidence was compounded by the painful speculation surrounding her mental state. They vehemently rejected the notion that she would intentionally abandon her life, pointing to her future plans and strong relationships. Her sister Clara recounted the torment of those days, stating that Emilee loved life too much to just walk away from it, and respected the mountains too much to be careless. The family found themselves trapped in a cruel limbo, defending her character while simultaneously praying for her safe return. As the days bled into weeks, the massive mobilization of resources inevitably began to scale down. The vibrant hope of a rescue transitioned into the somber reality of a recovery mission, and eventually into the quiet frustration of a cold case. The journal entries were analyzed and debated endlessly, but without their author to provide context, the words remained a locked cipher. The complete absence of a body, a torn backpack, or even a single dropped item defied all statistical probabilities of wilderness search and rescue. The official documentation of the case reflects the profound difficulty of reaching a conclusion when the evidence is so deeply contradictory. Park records indicate that over 300 personnel logged thousands of hours scouring the rugged terrain, making it one of the most extensive searches in the region's history. According to lead investigator Thomas Vance, the teams exhausted every physical lead the mountain gave them and analyzed every word she left behind, but the park simply refused to give up its secrets. The case file remains officially open, a testament to a mystery that refuses to be neatly categorized. Yosemite itself remains entirely unchanged by the human tragedy that unfolded within its borders. The seasons continue their ancient cycle, burying the high country in winter snows and washing the granite clean with massive spring melts. If an accident occurred in some hidden crevasse or dense thicket, the natural processes of the forest have long since reclaimed the evidence. The wilderness is not malicious in its concealment. It is simply vast, efficient, and utterly indifferent to the grief of those left behind. The story of Emilee LaRue occupies a unique and unsettling space in the annals of national park disappearances. It is a case perfectly balanced on the razor's edge between a tragic, accidental death and a deliberate, successful vanishing act. The physical evidence points to a standard hiking trip that went terribly wrong, while the psychological evidence hints at a deeply personal journey with no intended return. This irreconcilable dichotomy ensures that her name remains a subject of quiet speculation around campfires and in investigative forums decades later. The passage of time has done little to dull the sharp edge of ambiguity for those who loved her. To live with an unsolved disappearance is to inhabit a state of continuous, unresolved grief, where every ringing phone or unexpected knock at the door carries a fleeting, painful spark of hope. The family's enduring vigil is a quiet testament to human resilience, forced to accept that the final chapter of her life was written in a language only the mountains understand. They are left holding a notebook full of questions, standing at the edge of a wilderness that offers no replies. This vanishing speaks to a broader, more primal vulnerability that we all share when we step away from the safety of modern civilization. We enter the wild seeking connection, beauty, and sometimes escape, trusting our gear and our wits to bring us safely home. Yet, cases like this serve as a chilling reminder of how quickly the illusion of control can shatter against the reality of the natural world. It forces us to acknowledge the delicate fragility of human life when placed against the timeless, unyielding scale of the earth. The unsolved case of Emilee LaRue remains a haunting echo within the vast expanse of Yosemite National Park. Somewhere beneath the towering pines or deep within the granite canyons, the truth of her final moments is locked away, guarded by the silent majesty of the landscape. Whether she found the peace she wrote about or met a sudden, tragic end, her story is now inextricably woven into the fabric of the wilderness. It is a profound mystery that lingers on the alpine wind, a permanent, unanswered question resting in the heart of the wild.